Have you ever had that strange feeling that there's another version of yourself, living a completely different life, but somehow still connected to you? Maybe it happens in dreams that feel more real than reality itself. Or maybe you made an instinctive decision that changed your life and then wondered, what would have happened if I had done the opposite? Now imagine that this other version of you is not just an abstract possibility. What if, in fact, they are trying to communicate with you? In this video, we will dive deep into the science behind contact with other versions of yourself. A journey through quantum physics, neuroscience, expanded consciousness, and modern spirituality. Get ready, because what you're about to discover might completely transform how you understand yourself and reality. To begin, we need to understand the scientific basis of this possibility. The idea of parallel universes is no longer just science fiction. Since Hugh Everett formulated the many worlds theory in the 1950s, physicists have seriously considered the hypothesis that each decision creates branches in the fabric of the universe, generating new realities with alternative versions of ourselves. This theory, once confined to the realm of speculation, is now considered by many as a plausible explanation for the universe's complexity. According to it, infinite versions of you exist. One who chose a different career, another who ended a relationship, one living in another country. But the most fascinating part is this: these universes coexist in vibrational overlap, and their consciousnesses can intertwine under certain conditions, especially when there's energetic or emotional alignment. This is where quantum physics comes in powerfully. The phenomenon of quantum entanglement, in which two particles remain connected regardless of the distance between them, serves as the foundation for imagining that parts of your consciousness could be entangled with parallel versions of yourself. If this sounds esoteric, remember that real experiments show that entangled particles respond simultaneously to stimuli, even when separated by billions of kilometers. This raises the possibility that the same could occur with states of consciousness, especially if the human mind is more than just a biological product. This idea is reinforced by the hypothesis that consciousness may be a non-local quantum field, capable of projecting beyond the brain and interacting with multiple planes simultaneously. In this way, human consciousness becomes both a receiver and transmitter of interdimensional frequencies. Brain science is also beginning to validate these ideas. During altered states of consciousness, such as REM sleep, deep meditation, hypnosis, or near-death experiences, there is evidence that the brain accesses regions that are normally asleep. A study from the University of Sussex showed that during lucid dreams, certain areas of the brain responsible for identity, memory, and time perception become hyperactive. This may explain why many people report encountering alternative versions of themselves in these states, with knowledge they do not possess in their current reality. These are episodes that cannot be explained by imagination alone. They are lived experiences, vivid, coherent, and emotionally intense, as if they were memories from another life. Another study, published in Nature Neuroscience, revealed that the brain, during deep meditation, creates a different connectivity network, suggesting it synchronizes with external patterns, perhaps even from other realities. Furthermore, neuroscience reveals something fascinating about the construction of the self. The brain is in a constant process of updating identity based on experiences, memories, and future expectations. In other words, your mind already operates on multiple layers of time. This means your brain is biologically capable of handling simultaneous realities, even if we don't have conscious language to precisely describe this. This concept aligns perfectly with reports from people who claim to feel alternate lives or experience what they call overlapping realities, sensations, memories, and emotions that don't belong to this timeline but still feel deeply familiar. Science has no exact explanation for these phenomena yet, but some researchers argue that the prefrontal cortex may be the key, an area associated with imagination, planning, and simulation of possibilities, functioning as a neural bridge between the present and alternative versions of the self. But clues aren't only found in science. Ancient spiritual traditions like shamanism, Hermeticism, and Eastern philosophies have long spoken about the existence of multiple versions of the self. Shamans, for example, report spiritual journeys where they encounter other selves in alternate realities who offer guidance, healing, and visions. In Hinduism, there's the idea of lokas, parallel planes of existence. Tibetan Buddhism teaches that each being possesses infinite interdimensional manifestations. These traditions don't contradict science, quite the opposite. They anticipate what we are only beginning to explore with modern tools. Hermeticism, for instance, teaches that all is mind, that the universe is mental in essence, suggesting that different realities are projections of different states of consciousness. Combining these views, a powerful idea emerges. Perhaps consciousness is multidimensional by nature, and we only access small portions of it in the waking state. The rest, the alternate versions, the fragments scattered across the multiverse, communicate with us through dreams, intuitions, symbols, and synchronicity patterns, and this has direct implications for your life. When you feel like you're in the wrong place living a reality that doesn't fit, it's possible your parallel self is trying to warn you, guide you, or even align you with a higher timeline, one where you live with more purpose, abundance, and expansion. This communication can also manifest through people, books, music, or events that appear at the exact right moment, as if they were catalysts for vibrational realignment. This communication may manifest in subtle ways: a déjà vu that feels like a memory from another universe, a recurring dream about a life you never lived but feel is yours, or that intense sensation that you should be doing something completely different with your life, as if you were late for a destiny that already happened somewhere else. In practical terms, this can be seen as a call to reevaluate your decisions, your beliefs, and your vibrational frequency. Because according to many schools of quantum and spiritual thought, you can only access higher versions of yourself when you vibrate in resonance with them. In other words, the key to interdimensional contact lies in how you live the now, with presence, authenticity, and coherence between thought, emotion, and action. Tools like visualization meditation, flow states, active intuition listening, and even experiences with isochronic or binaural tones are portals to access these expanded states. They not only facilitate contact with alternate versions of the self, but also increase heart coherence and activity in the brain's frontal lobes, areas related to conscious choices and future vision. Studies from the HeartMath Institute show that states of gratitude and full presence change body biochemistry and create a more cohesive electromagnetic field, which can act as an amplified signal to other dimensions of consciousness. In other words, the more aligned you are with your essence, the more perceptible you become to your higher self, and vice versa. The pineal gland, considered by many traditions as the spiritual antenna, also plays a key role. Activated through meditative states and practices like fasting, silence, or specific sound frequencies, it may be a direct channel to access data from other versions of yourself. Therefore, contact with other versions of yourself is not only possible, it's desirable, because each one of them represents an alternative path that holds wisdom, learning, and expansion. By building this bridge, you don't just discover more about who you are, but also about who you can become. You activate a quantum intelligence, an inner compass that transcends linear time. And more than that, you reconnect with a purpose that goes beyond your current circumstances, a purpose that has already been lived by you on another plane. Now, all you need to do is listen. And that listening isn't done with your ears, but with your soul. And the final question is, are you ready to connect with the most powerful, fulfilled, and awakened version of yourself? Because they're already trying to speak with you, and maybe, just maybe, it was you who had been asleep until now.